Have you ever wondered what makes you, you? The answer lies in a molecule called DNA. DNA, or deoxyribonucleic acid, is a marvel of nature. It's the blueprint that shapes our identities, dictating everything from the color of our eyes to our susceptibility to certain diseases. In essence, DNA is what makes us unique. But what exactly is DNA? It's a long, twisted, ladder-like structure known as a double helix. Each rung of this ladder is made of a pair of molecules called nucleotides. These nucleotides are the smallest building blocks of DNA, and they come in 4 different types: adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine. Adenine always pairs with thymine, and guanine always pairs with cytosine, forming the steps of our DNA ladder. The sides of the DNA ladder are made of deoxyribose sugar and phosphate. These backbone elements keep our DNA structured, allowing the nucleotides to pair up and form the genetic code. Now imagine a library filled with countless books. Each book is unique with its own story. This is how DNA works. Each sequence of nucleotides tells a different story, a story about the traits that make us who we are. However, DNA isn't just about individuality, it's the fundamental unit of life, the common thread that connects all living things. From the smallest bacteria to the largest whale, we all share the language of DNA. This intricate molecule is not just about the present, it's a record of our past, a guide to our present, and a map to our future. DNA holds the secrets of evolution, the mysteries of diseases, and the potential for incredible scientific breakthroughs. As we uncover more about DNA, we gain a deeper understanding of life itself. We begin to see the interconnectedness of all living things and the immense complexity of our own bodies. We realize that we're not just products of our environment, but also of a genetic code that has been billions of years in the making. Understanding DNA is like unlocking the secret code of life. Imagine if there was a typo in the secret code of life, what would happen? DNA replication is like a scribe copying an ancient manuscript with precision. This is a vital process that ensures genetic information is passed from one generation to the next without any loss or alteration. Let's conjure up an image of a bustling factory. Here, the main product is the DNA molecule, a long, twisted, ladder-like structure made of billions of rungs. Each rung is composed of 2 matching pieces or bases, which can be adenine, thymine, guanine, or cytosine. The unique order of these bases forms the genetic code, spelling out the instructions for life. Now imagine the DNA molecule unzipping itself, splitting the ladder down the middle. Each half of the ladder acts as a template for the creation of a new matching half. This is where the diligent workers, the enzymes and proteins, come into play. The enzyme helicase unzips the DNA, breaking the bonds between the base pairs and separating the 2 strands. Then another enzyme, DNA polymerase, steps in, moving along each strand and adding matching bases to form new strands. It's like a meticulous craftsman, ensuring each piece fits perfectly with its counterpart. But the process is not always flawless. Sometimes mistakes or typos occur. DNA polymerase is like a proofreader, scanning for errors in the newly formed strands. When it encounters a mismatch, it removes the incorrect base and replaces it with the correct one. However, some typos escape detection and correction. These uncorrected errors become mutations, which can lead to changes in the organism's traits. But that's a story for another time. This intricate process of DNA replication, with its checks and balances, ensures that the genetic information, the blueprint for life, is accurately transmitted from generation to generation. So DNA replication ensures that the secret code of life is copied accurately, typos and all. But what happens when there is a mistake in the DNA code? Let's delve into the fascinating world of DNA mutations. A DNA mutation is like a typographical error in the DNA sequence. Just as a misplaced letter can change the meaning of a word, a DNA mutation can alter the function of a gene with potential effects on the organism. Now, mutations come in different shapes and sizes. Let's start with the simplest form, a substitution mutation. Picture this like a spelling error, where one base is replaced by another, for instance, an A swapped for a T. This can lead to an altered protein or sometimes no change at all. Next up, we have insertion mutations. Just as the name suggests, this is when an extra base is inserted into the DNA sequence. Imagine adding an extra letter to a word. It can completely change its meaning, right? The same goes for DNA. An insertion can lead to a frame shift, scrambling the genetic message and often resulting in a non-functional protein. On the flip side, we have deletion mutations. This is when a base is removed from the DNA sequence. Think of it as accidentally omitting a letter from a word. This also causes a frame shift and can have similar effects to an insertion. Now, it's important to remember that not all mutations are doom and gloom. While some can indeed be harmful, leading to diseases such as cancer, others can be completely harmless. In fact, some mutations can even be beneficial. These beneficial mutations can give an organism a survival advantage, allowing it to adapt to its environment. Over time, these advantageous mutations accumulate, driving the process of evolution. So, DNA mutations, while sometimes viewed negatively, are an integral part of life's diversity. They're the reason we have such a wide array of species on our planet, each uniquely adapted to its environment. So the next time you think about DNA, remember that it's not just a static blueprint. It's a dynamic, ever-changing code. While some mutations can be harmful, others can be beneficial, driving evolution and diversity in life. How does DNA determine our traits, from eye color to risk of diseases? It's a question that has fascinated scientists and lay people alike for decades. The answer lies in the fascinating field of genetics, a science that studies how traits are passed from generation to generation. The key players here are genes, which are specific segments of DNA. Think of them as instructions or recipes, each one dictating how to make a specific protein. These proteins, in turn, carry out various functions in our bodies, from building tissues to fighting off diseases. Your genes, therefore, form the blueprint that instructs your body on how to function and develop. Now let's talk about variations. We're all unique, right? That's because of something called alleles. An allele is simply a different version of a gene, much like a different flavor of ice cream. You may have the chocolate version of a gene, while I might have the vanilla. And it's these differences that lead to the variety of traits we see in the world around us. Let's take a practical example. Ever wonder why some people have brown eyes and others blue? That's down to a gene called OCA2. This gene helps determine how much melanin, the pigment that gives color to our skin, hair, and eyes, we produce. If you have the chocolate version of OCA2, you'll likely have brown eyes, while the vanilla version might give you blue eyes. But what happens when there's a change in the DNA sequence? Sometimes these changes or mutations can lead to unusual traits or even diseases. Take the story of the Blue people of Kentucky. This family carried a rare mutation that caused their skin to appear blue. Scientists later discovered that this mutation affected a gene involved in producing hemoglobin, the protein that carries oxygen in our blood. So our traits, from the color of our eyes to our risk of diseases, are not random or accidental. They're a direct result of the information coded in our DNA. Whether you've got chocolate or vanilla, it's your genes that make you, you. So our traits are a direct result of the information coded in our DNA. What does the future hold for DNA science? This is a question that excites scientists and sparks the imagination of thinkers all over the world. From the intricate patterns of our genetic code, we are on the cusp of unlocking new ways to improve life as we know it. One of the most promising developments is gene editing. Imagine a future where we can snip out undesirable traits like a pair of genetic scissors, eradicating hereditary diseases, or engineering crops to be more resistant to pests and climate change. Dr. Genevieve Klein, a leading geneticist, shares her insights. The potential of gene editing is immense. It holds the promise of treating and possibly even curing genetic diseases. However, we must tread carefully, ensuring ethical use of this powerful tool. Personalized medicine is another exciting frontier. Picture a world where your doctor knows exactly what treatment will work for you based on your unique genetic makeup. No more trial and error, no more one-size-fits-all prescriptions. Your medicine will be tailored to you, and you alone. Professor Henry Ford, a renowned bioinformatician, shares his perspective. Personalized medicine could revolutionize healthcare. It's like having a roadmap of your body, guiding us to the most effective treatment. It's a future we're striving for. Lastly, let's consider DNA data storage. With the digital universe expanding exponentially, our traditional storage systems are struggling to keep up. DNA, with its incredible density and longevity, offers a potential solution. Imagine storing all the world's data in a space no larger than a sugar cube. Dr. Amelia Hart, a pioneer in this field, adds, DNA data storage is a fascinating prospect. It's an elegant solution to a growing problem, using nature's own design to help us manage our digital world. With the continuous advancements in DNA science, who knows what possibilities the future holds? We stand on the brink of a new era, one where our understanding of DNA shapes our world in ways we can only begin to imagine.